from a town called Minnesota. It's not a town, it's a state. I was born in Minnesota. My father is from the Bahamas. My mother is from Alabama. And I grew up also in Nassau, Bahamas. So I grew up in two places. I grew up in the cold and the warmth. So
So which one do you like better?
the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
Yes.
Obviously, right?
That's my home. That's my home right there.
Nice.
That's my home. Yeah.
So are you going back for Christmas break, Thanksgiving break?
Christmas. Definitely Christmas.
Christmas in the Bahamas.
Christmas in the Bahamas.
Take me with you.
I wish.
That's an expensive flight.
I don't even know. I'm praying that I get there because of the recent hurricane and things.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, okay,
yeah.
deep note. Let's
Yeah.
dive into that right away. Like,
okay.
how is the area pretty devastated? Family
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, it's they got hit pretty bad. They didn't get hit as bad as everyone else. Like Haiti, because Haiti had a lot of fatalities. The Bahamas had no fatalities, thank God. But there's been some problems. You know, electricity hasn't been on for a lot of people for a while now.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people are running into issues like with repairs and yeah, you're hearing a lot about how there's holes in the political system and the government and how now it's being shown.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of relief effort going on.
No relief effort.
And apparently the prime minister, he's trying to like add a tax for hurricane relief.
Okay.
And a lot of people are like, no. You already gave us a value added tax, a new tax, and you want to tax us more so we can repair our own country.
Yeah.
Excuse me, like I feel like I honestly don't have enough information on it because I haven't been paying attention. I've been paying attention to how like my family, and
sure,
I'm happy that everyone's alive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's gonna take some time for them to get back to where they once were,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that they can come together. Everyone can come together as a country because I feel like that things will run better if everyone comes together as a country, regardless of your political party, which is hard for a lot of people to do because of the different social classes in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own ideas and they have their own experiences and their circumstances that are drastically different from other people's circumstances. Some of them, like for me, I've had a mixture of like in my experience in and out of social classes, and but for people who have just experienced that, I think they have different views and they're like having a hard time coming eye to eye because of that.
Yeah.
I think the people who may be more impoverished in the urban settings may have been hit a bit harder.
I bet. Yeah.
They always seem to be hit harder, and they always seem to not get as much help as they need. But hopefully people who have the resources can come in and help them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be nice.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, unless you actually get hit by one of these, you don't really understand, and I don't fully understand like what it's like. So yeah, I hope you get to go see them over Christmas and probably bring some neat perspectives back with you for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's remember the Bahamas and Haiti and all those other places that got hit in prayer for sure. So, but yeah, this is that's a little bit about Ben Bethel, my good friend, and we are both film majors.
Yes, we are.
So, film majors in the house.
In the house.
And Landon actually does the show with me as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Another
That's a
film
great
major.
guy.
So we're taking over the world.
We're taking over everything.
I would have said that more epically, but I have a cold, so if I sound funny, I have a cold.
Me sort of. Allergies. I react to the rain.
You're allergic to the rain.
Yeah, I get
cats
all
and dogs rain. Yeah.
Yeah, I get all stuffy in my nose and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And my roommates keep the room at negative below zero weather, so there's snow forming in our room now. We have created an
I think
atmosphere.
I remember visiting you and seeing the snow clouds coming in.
They were coming in. I was like, oh, interesting.
That's why you were wrapped up in like 5 different blankets.
Yes, 5 different blankets. My hoodie, my sweatpants, and my jacket. I sleep in those.
And headphones for ear warmth, but also like comfort. Right?
Also comfort, yes. Not by choice. Hey, shout out to Sean if you're listening. Turn it down, man. Or up, actually. Turn down your fan and turn up the warmth. I'm dying.
We love Sean. Sean's awesome.
He's a great guy.
Lots of film experience where we look like up to him a lot.
Yeah.
Unless you're taller than him, then you have to look down to look up.
Look down, but not many people are looking down at him in our department.
Yeah.
Do we have any tall people? Who do we have who's tall?
Then that's about it.
I think that we're all like either hitting 6 foot, or we're hardly hitting 5'10", or we're like in the middle.
Yeah.
And some of the women,
we're a bunch of average folk trying to do awesome things.
Yeah, sort of.
Speaking of which, Ben, like, why did you want to be a film major? Landon and I both talked about it before on the show, but as a guest, you have the floor for that. Like, tell some people like why, if they haven't decided a major, why they should be a film major, but then also like what your passion is for film and what you want to do with it. If you know, some people don't know.
What a question. Well, I guess I can start with when I was a kid, film impacted me in the weirdest way. It was just like I always had like these visions in my head. Like I could vividly see scenes, like vividly. I would just sit hours and hours and just like map out scenes in my head of
really?
Different interactions, reactions, scenes from movies, or like I would form worlds in my head. And
that's
stuff like
awesome.
That. And then I would go around like crazy, and I'd start like I loved like doing my own movies by myself and imagining the characters around me.
Yeah.
I would like build dialogue. I would have like fight scenes and stuff like that. I'd do the sound effects mainly. It would just be spit flying everywhere. And my brother looking at me like, who is this kid? And why is he my brother? My mom's like, boy, if you don't stop spitting and yelling, I swear to God. And I'm like, I'm in a movie, Mom. I'm in a movie. She's like, whatever. So then I just remember me and my brother, we had like these vivid imaginations. Like we would create up like characters, and we would like we would go out and like do kid stuff, you know?
Yeah.
You just do fun or like creative stuff that you wouldn't think would translate into anything in your life. But yeah, I just remember as a kid, I remember my first camera I got, little bootleg camera, but I used to go around. It had editing software, and I made the scenes. I added in the effects.
There you go.
First film was called Dimensions.
Dimensions.
Yes.
That actually sounds like a really epic movie.
It's sort of Christopher Nolan-esque.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like these different dimensions were like blending with our world, and you would get glimpses of them. And the world was going on. It was going crazy. So like I had all these like crazy effects, and like everything was like there was colors just like converging because the two worlds couldn't handle each other or something. And I was a kid, and I didn't understand why I was thinking of this stuff. But it was fun. And then I had my own radio show, my own talk show, where I talked to myself, basically. And
did you interview yourself, like,
yes,
type of stuff?
I would interview myself.
Like, Ben, what do you think about the current issues? Well,
yeah,
awesome.
I would make up like my own characters. Like I'd come in and be like,
oh,
we have this and this today, and I'm like, oh hey, and then I just keep going with it. And my brother, of course, he was still looking at me like, what's wrong with this kid?
Did you do different voices? Like,
yes.
Okay.
I was interesting. And then I got into music. I really started listening to music. I got into rap. I like some like really hardcore rap growing up. Like just like when I was growing up as a kid, I was 10. I was listening to like Little John, Yin Yang Twins, things my mother didn't want me to listen to. She was like, she would always she would get in my CD collection.
Yeah.
She would just throw my CDs away. Then I'd go back to FYE. If anyone knows what that is, awesome. FYE, Sam Goody, back in the day. Do you know? Did you remember Sam Goody?
No.
You missed out on such a great store. You can get movies, CDs. You can listen to the CDs. You can get DVDs. That's where I used to go, and I just look at all the movies, and I'm like, one day I'll watch these. I'll watch all of these one day. And
now,
then,
is that like it's a store?
Yeah, man. It was basically a record store, except it was an entertainment store. Because you can get all kinds of stuff there.
Where were you living at the time?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
So there's a Sam Goody, and I was living in Burnsville, Minnesota. There's one in the Burnsville Mall, and there is one in Mall of America.
Okay.
The Mall of America, and then in Bahamas there's one called, I forgot what it was called, but I used to love going there in the mall in Nassau. I used to go get CDs from there. I remember I got this Beanie Man CD. Like, I don't know if anyone knows what Beanie Man is, but shout out to my Bahamian people if anyone's listening. Probably not.
They probably didn't know you were guest starring.
They didn't know I was guest starring, that's why. But yeah, to tie it all in, I love creative expressions from people. Film is it's a creative outlet. It's art.
For sure.
It's art. It's an art form. Music, it's an art form. Performance, it's an art form. Acting, it's an art form.
You like that theater.
Yeah, I like theater. What's up? But mainly I like acting for film because it's sort of different because you can create...
It's extremely different.
You can create things from nothing. And in film, it's more of, this is me out in front of you. I remember these lines, and I'm going to give you the best performance I can every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Theater's hard.
Yeah.
If you have lines and stuff, like, man, those people work hard.
Yeah.
And the people who build the sets, the directors, and all that stuff, it all ties into film. It's the same thing, sort of different, just a different way of approaching it. The acting's
different because you're almost you
create the moods.
And some actors don't even have it memorized. They're just like, before they shoot the scene, they're like, all right, this is your line. And then they're like, okay, my name is Inigo Montoya. Like, like that. They literally heard that 5 seconds ago,
Prepare to die.
Yeah.
And you can do that over and over again for the scene. But if you're doing it in a play, you better get it right the first time.
Yeah.
Because if you don't and you suck, you sucked.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you sucked forever.
Yeah. You have to have the same thing, same way. Whereas in film, I feel like it's a little different every time.
Yeah.
And that's where the beauty in editing it. And the director gets to come in like, oh, I love that expression here. They didn't do it as good here, but they did really good here.
Yeah. In theater, you kind of go through that through rehearsal. You go through that through vigorous rehearsals. And the director's like, oh, I didn't like how you said that.
Yeah.
Why don't you say it this way? And it's sort of the same in film, but at the same time, the product. It's the product.
Yeah.
It's so different. The product is different, man. And the things you can do now with film and for theater. But yeah, I finally it was definitely when I found my identity through Christ.
Yeah.
When I really found like who I was through Jesus Christ, and that I started to see everything from that angle, and I started to see all these different beautiful aspects of film and music and art, just the arts and art forms that you can use to sort of tap into people's hearts, and you can sort of pull the heartstrings, and you can show them a side of God's love. You don't have to necessarily directly tell them, oh, this is God, this is God. You can be like, hey, this is love, this is grace, this is peace, this is what some people go through in life. This is a song about racial reconciliation. This is a movie about social injustices, but then towards the end they come to peace. And you're like, you're pulling at people's heartstrings, and you're making them think, and you're opening conversations, and you're bringing people together because they're like, I like this film, I like that too. Oh, I like that. That was a good record by so and so. Oh, did you hear he's a Christian? What? And then it's like, but this song made me feel this way. But then this and that, and then you're like, hey, I wonder why he made this. And then you hear the artist be like, oh yeah, man, I love God, and he did this for me. And they're like, I wonder if he could do that for me too. Yeah. And then like they tell you their side of it, and it opens up so many opportunities, and I definitely want to do that, and I want to do all of it, but not at the expense of my soul. If that makes any sense, because it can happen that way. But I feel like God put these gifts and talents in me for a reason, and I'm gonna use them, and I definitely I definitely think film's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them amongst the others, and I think they're all. I don't think I'm gonna put film above any. Like, I don't think I'm gonna put music above film or acting above filming or being a director or writing or anything like that. I think they're all one.
Yeah.
They're all one thing. They're all an art form. They're all from God, and I hope I can show people you can be exactly who you are because that's who God made you to be. Don't let anyone put you in a box. Don't let anyone put you in a box. Make sure you live outside of that box because God lives outside of the box in all of our lives, in each and every one of our hearts. And when people can see that, and then they can get an even better view of Christianity, a better view of Jesus, and a better view of how we as Christians really live, and we're not just a bunch of hypocritical, crazy people. We're not. We're human. We're just like everyone else. We go through the same stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we just know why we're here, and we know who we're living for.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That brings us peace and clarity and an awareness that surpasses me when I had no clue who God was. Like, if I went back to that, I would just be lost. Like, wait, now what do I do? But now that I understand where I am in relation to God, it's like everything is sort of coming together and it makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I hope my art can open up conversation. I don't want it to just be like cookie cutter. I want it to be artistically.
Yeah.
I want it to be well. I want it to be done very well. I don't want it to just be like, here's the message. Here's the answer. Take it. I want them to watch it and then figure it out from their.
Kind of like the Christopher Nolan ones, where at the end you're like, I know that was an amazing movie, but I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And then you want to watch it again, and you want to keep and you're like, oh, I got the main message, but what did that scene have to do? And then you're like, there's more levels, and I need to keep going, digging it out, getting what is he trying to tell me? What is he saying? What is this actor's life purpose? Like that stuff, and it's just like, and you're captivated by it.
Yeah. Interstellar did that to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't Interstellar. It has its plot holes. It definitely does. And I watched it for the first time in theaters, and that movie made me cry. It takes a lot for movies to make me cry, and I'm sitting there like,
wow,
Cooper.
Wow.
You know, I'm just like, and it was captivating mainly because of how human it was and how human the score was. Like, the score was it was perfect in the way it moved throughout the movie. It moved perfect, and whenever I listen to the score, it's perfect for any moment of my life. And Hans Zimmer, like, he just does that well.
Hans Zimmer is the man.
Yeah, he is the man. And I think, like, his films really connect with the human spirit because of, I mean, there's these crazy concepts, but at the same time, like, Interstellar was more of like, what would a father do for love, like for his daughter. It was weird, like this tug of war of love, and how far you would go for love. Like, this woman was willing to go, like, she was willing to go into another dimension. She went into a black hole to see if the person she loved was still alive, and there was pretty much no chance he was, but for some reason she still would. And it's crazy how love works. Love is like this real tangible thing, you know, like God is, you know, like, and that's what I got from that movie.
So let me ask you, Ben, and I've talked a little bit about this before on the show, but obviously right now in Christian filmmaking, there is, or what we say is Christian filmmaking, there's that very sacred and secular divide. And we've been talking about this in Foundations some too. But how do you think as filmmakers who are Christians, we should approach this idea of filmmaking? Because a lot of people tell you, it needs to be specifically Christian. It needs to have a message. You know, you're spoon feeding the audience like this. Personally, I feel like there's a time and a place for that. It's a good tool for discipleship within a Christian community, but not necessarily for just your average viewer, where you don't know what their background is. But like this idea of love, do we specifically have to tie it in and say this is what God is, or do we just present the idea of love, a true form of what love looks like, not a corrupted version? But yeah, that was kind of random, couple of thoughts there, but yeah. What are your thoughts about, as Christians in filmmaking, how do we approach this?
Well, it's a tough one because I don't know if you can call a film Christian because it's a film. Christians can make films, but you can't call a film Christian. I mean, you can have Christian elements to it, but it's a film at the end of the day.
It's not saved, is it?
No, it's the film. Did the film confess its belief of Jesus Christ? No, it's a film made by people following Jesus.
Yeah.
And the art form is based sort of on their beliefs. I feel like we were called to make good art.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say that these days, but they don't. Sometimes it's misunderstood, like, oh, good art, what do you mean by that? We were meant to make something from nothing, but at the same time, if we wanted to reflect the God we love, then why force feed it to someone? Did God force feed us, or did he give us a choice? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did he give us a choice? At least for me, I feel like God sort of showed up in my life and he was like, okay, I know things are messed up right now, but it's going to be all right because I'll take care of it as long as you give it to me. You still have to give it to me in order to move forward.
Yeah.
And it's a choice. It's not like God's like, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. Hey, you gonna follow me yet? Hey, follow me. Hey. And I think sometimes Christian movies are sort of like hinting like, this is the way to live. This is it. And it is, but at the same time when you watch the films, it's like it doesn't always happen like that.
Yeah.
It's much harder. It's much more violent. Life is much more violent, not in the sense of bloody violence, but it's much more messy than that. It's a lot more messy. Maybe not for everyone, but it is. And I think if you're a Christian filmmaker, or if you're just, what does it say? If you're a filmmaker and you're a Christian, you should be making things that are so beautiful, so good, so amazing, that it's so much better than whatever is out there. Because that's what God is, right?
Right.
He's so amazing. He's so much better than what everything else is out there. Instead of copying this formula that has been thrown away by many filmmakers, that it's just they don't use that formula anymore. It's weird. It's weird how it sort of went from, okay, Christian films were PG for a long time. Then they're like, okay, no one's coming to see us. Let's make it PG-13. Let's add a curse word in there or something, or something like, or a scene with. It's like, just make something awesome. Who cares what it's rated? It can be rated G, and if it's beautiful, and if it's just amazing, and if you take the time to just make a great film, you are going to reach so many people, because God can work from anything.
Yeah.
We think that we have to take everything and make it the way we need it. Oh, we got to put this here and then this there. Because somehow we think that we can control how God works. We can't. It says in the Bible, like, we can't control how God works. We can take these steps. We start the project. But let this beautiful thing just speak for itself. And, like, man, there's so many filmmakers out there who are doing that. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Christopher Nolan, like, he, or guys like, or I forgot what they're called, but they made Kubo and the Two Strings. I don't know if you've seen that.
Do they make The Matrix as well?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say, but it's some
They
name like
do stop motion.
Yeah.
Stop motion film. They take time to build all that.
Yeah.
They build it all. It's beautiful, right? But it still has these really mature themes of life, love, grace, peace, shattering your pride, growing up, forgiveness, forgiveness, like this, like I wouldn't want to ruin it for everyone, but it showed this scene of forgiveness, and I'm just like, this is what kids need to see.
Yeah.
Like this is what kids need to learn. Like this, they're showing grace. Grace is hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's incredibly hard, and the film like tapped into everything. I feel like if you just do that, let God move, man. They'll find out. They'll definitely find out.
So, I guess to play devil's advocate a little bit here, some people would argue, well, if you don't give them the opportunity to make a choice in the film, they're not going to make a choice. Like, so there's this idea of spoon feeding where like, oh, you only give them one option. But then some people would say, well, if you don't mention God or Jesus in the film, how are they going to connect the dots, I guess. So not necessarily the idea of spoon feeding, but still the idea of like, you need to at least talk about it somewhat in the film, you know, so like God's not dead. That was like spoon feeding. Now, personally, it was very edifying for me for the situation I was going with in terms of a relationship between me and another kid in the school that I was at. So I had that kind of atheistic creation debate and feeling like I was the only one and yada, yada, yada. But in terms of the movie itself, there was definitely, most people would consider that spoon feeding. Like, God, Jesus, you're on your deathbed, you need to accept, you know, like, as the professor hits a car and flips over and like super violent type of thing. Whereas I would say Woodlawn, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's not a spoon feed in terms of it's not shoving it in your face. It's very artistic. It's very beautiful. It's a football film. Love it. But they still do talk about God and Jesus in it. Amongst touching on forgiveness and love and racial reconciliation and just competition, you know. So what are your thoughts about that? As Christians, should we be making an effort to put a dialogue in there about it? Not necessarily telling you, hey, it needs to be this way, but maybe saying, hey, in my opinion, this is how it is, but still giving the option of choice. Is that good, or should we just kind of stay away from it? Or should it be a film-by-film basis?
Oh, I mean, I don't like to like knock anything over or anything like that, but I just feel like some people just don't resonate with certain things, and that's just the truth. I don't resonate with like films like God's Not Dead. I don't know, that maybe because of the way I was growing up, the things I've seen. I don't know, but I think the biggest thing, I remember watching God's Not Dead and be like, okay, this could happen. You know, this is. I like the scene where he was coming in with like when he came in with the presentation.
Yeah.
At the university. I thought that was a good scene. That was a pretty good scene. But I just feel like it's only reaching a small amount of people.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we can do so much. We can do better. And I think that we can do better if we have more faith in the art that we work and how it speaks. And how it's, and God, just knowing that God can speak for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can go around telling people, yo, you need to know Jesus. Most likely, I probably would only reach a couple. But I realized once I realized that, oh, doesn't the Bible say be slow to speak and quick to listen? Listen to them. Ask them what they believe in first. Don't just go up to them saying, believe in what I believe in. Go up to them, say, what do you believe in? Okay, now let me show you something else. Hopefully, you'll consider it.
Yeah.
You know, think about it, because I love you, and God loves you too.
Yeah.
And if we can make films like that, which have been made. I think it definitely have been made, and I think are being made. You can reach so many more people, and even if they were at first, they can be just like, oh, snap. That made me feel some kind of way. I'm gonna try this out. Like, just be like, hey, like, just show them the truth. Show them the truth of what we go through as humans and how God loves us.
Yeah.
And you open some doors, or I don't even think we open them. I think God opens the doors, like, for sure. Because we can only do so much.
That's true.
Or I can. If I make a film, like, I just want to be completely open in the creative process, but at the same time, I have to be in prayer as to if I'm going too far.
Yeah.
Like, hey, God, should I put this in here?
Yeah.
I don't know if I should do that, and then God will definitely guide you in the creative process.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can take risks, because if we read the Bible, it's not a pretty thing at all. It's not it's definitely not a children's story.
No.
It's definitely not. So it's like we have the responsibility to show the fullness of God and the experience of Christianity or whatever.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Although many people, and I would somewhat argue this, but that God isn't necessarily all of those awful things that we see in the Bible as well.
Yeah.
So, but showing the redemptiveness despite the awfulness, like if we have that in there, I think that's where it becomes okay to display those things, but then showing like, hey, look, this isn't supposed to be in this life. Yet we still have it, and we have to deal with it, and people resonate with that when you have crappy stuff that you have to deal with. But then just showing like, there is a brighter side to this. We have a Redeemer. And maybe you don't need to specifically say that one of your characters in the film, like, as this guy just like lost his whole family and stuff, and like to a psychopathic murderer, like gory scene, whatever. And then the character's like, well, God's going to make it all right. Like, yes, he is going to make it all right eventually. He's going to come back and make a new earth and get rid of sin type of thing. Maybe you show his redemptiveness in a love, and how the friend, instead of saying that, comes and comforts that guy in that moment. And you see this tender, beautiful moment of friendship and grief, and that. Maybe that's a good way of doing it. I don't know. Kind of just talking I
think that we all have a diverse way that we can create art. And we should all just come together with our different perspectives and make some really great stuff. I think sometimes we just get so mixed up on having people who agree with us all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like if you have someone who's like, I wonder if an atheist and a Christian could come together and make something.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
I think there would be I feel like if you were just like, I feel like for a Christian, you would have to love them. You'd have to show them grace. Because if you don't do those things, they don't want to hear about our God. If we're not showing them the qualities of our God, they're going to be like, bruh, why do I want to change if I'm just going to be a judgmental hypocrite or something like that? And yeah, if you just like show them like, hey man, I'm cool. Like, I don't care if you do this and this around me.
Yeah.
Because then you need them to feel comfortable. You don't want, because it's funny how like a lot of the times when someone knows you're a Christian, they're like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this around them. Can I smoke this cigarette? Oh snap. Can I say curse words around this guy? Is he going like that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do they think we're like these
kind of judges almost?
They just think
with
like
the mallet ready to strike it at.
It's like they treat us like we're children. Like, you know, when you're a child, like you feel like, oh, I shouldn't do this around this kid. Should I? I probably shouldn't. We probably shouldn't watch this movie with all this cursing in it, because he's not gonna like that. Oh wait, he can't We can't play Jay-Z around him. We gotta play some Kids Bop 5.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they treat us like we're kids because we act like kids. I guess we act like kids sometimes. We're adults. We need to be mature. We need to be loving. We need to be graceful, and we need to stop trying to be so safe because Christianity isn't necessarily a safe thing. Now, is it? Not even though it's not safe, it's still. It's the reason for everyone's life. Like, we are here to live for God. Every single person, that's what we're meant for. And it says Jesus Christ died for the salvation of all men. So we should be understanding that Jesus wants every heart.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think that the door is open. It has been open for ages. Guys are doing things now that are pretty cool, and they're saying that, you know what, it's funny how some guys like to ride in the middle, and that's how Jesus was. He was at the gates of hell. He was there. He was inside. Like he was there. He was staring at it. He didn't say to stand outside. He said to go in.
Yeah. No, he was hanging out with tax collectors and prostitutes and people like that. Not necessarily engaging them in the sinful behavior, but he was with them.
He was with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's by grace that we find life.
Yeah.
It's by grace that we find life.
I think and as you gave that example of, can a Christian and atheist make a movie together? My guess is the atheist will not want to make the movie with the Christians, specifically because of the idea, they're going to be super judgmental. I'm not going to be able to live normally around them. And I think the Christian's going to walk into that going, I'm going to have to compromise eventually, and thinking, I can't do that. So I think they'd probably butt heads on that. But if they did come together, I think it would be really interesting to see if the Christian could live in a way like Jesus did, with engaging them. And because atheists, man, they're still people. They're still human. They can still, God gifted them with the ability to create, we're made in his image. They can create some pretty, really beautiful stuff. Yeah, and they can also create some really ugly, horrific stuff. I mean, Christians, we still have that potential as well. Yeah. So there's that idea that we can't just label them like, atheist, he's going to only create terrible stuff. I don't know if Christopher Nolan's unsaved, if you want to categorize him with that, but he made a really beautiful movie. A couple of them, actually, a dozen of them, actually. Yeah. There's still some stuff in there. I'm like, well, I don't really agree with that. I don't think that should be in the movie. But overall, there's this beautiful movie. So as a Christian coming together with an atheist, I think you could make something beautiful. I think there's going to be a lot of disagreement about what beautiful looks like. And the Christian probably will eventually have to sit down and say, hey, we're not going to have this bedroom scene in here because that's not what I stand for. That's not what I believe. It's condoning a sinful behavior, but he might be, but this depiction of this homeless guy in the street, I would never have thought of that. And that's beautiful. Yes, he's pickpocketing somebody, but it displays the idea that he's desperate to be able to provide for his sick kid. Who knows what you could create. But I think there is that difficulty that a lot of Christians will say no at the very beginning of even the thought of working with somebody like that, because am I going to have to compromise? So what do you think about that? If you were presented that opportunity, how do you navigate that water?
I feel like we shouldn't compromise, because it wouldn't make sense.
Right.
We shouldn't compromise because the atheists most likely won't compromise either. But you can come to a common ground on certain things that most humans can come to a common ground on, and from then on you can keep moving forward. Because if you compromise, you're sort of putting yourself in a vulnerable space. Not saying that God's gonna be like, better luck next time, but the bus to heaven is gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it worked like that, would be horrible. I wouldn't be going.
Nobody would be a Christian if that were the case.
Yeah, nobody. But I think like unfortunately, I feel like as not even unfortunately, I think fortunately as Christians, we realize now once you're saved by grace that there's certain things you just don't really go back to.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, for me, even if I do fall and I do fall back into something, like if I become a bit like prideful or something like, or judgmental, which is just as bad as anything else, I'll be like, okay, wait, this isn't a good place to be, because this branches off into so many different things. You can always realize that God is there present with you, speaking to you in those moments, and everything like that. It opens up doors to sort of be open and understanding that nothing is too dirty for you. There's some things that we shouldn't touch, some things we shouldn't deal with, because they're just, I mean, obviously, like, you don't have to be a Christian to realize they're not good.
Yeah.
You know? But at the same time, it's like, there's nothing to, I guess, unclean for us to interact with because of Jesus and how he lives within us and around us and through us. So once we realize that, and how we're sort of, we have a new life and a new way of living that helps us navigate in the world, and it helps us not it gives us a spirit of discernment, basically, to know what is going to bring me closer to God and what is not. Sometimes it's harder to recognize what's not. Sometimes it's easy to fall into the traps, and that's why a lot of people like to stay away from things like that, like working with people who live a certain lifestyle, which is understandable. Like, you probably shouldn't get so deep into that person's life where it's like you don't know what's what anymore, unless that's a part of your journey. And if that can definitely bring you closer to God, because if you get out of that, which you most likely will, you will have an even stronger faith. But at the same time, we shouldn't be afraid, because no matter what, God is with us, and he is helping us, and we have the tools to go into the world and I guess sort of like we learned in Foundations, create these pockets of heaven. Everywhere, these pockets of heaven in everything, in the most craziest of situations, the messiest of places, we can bring the light. God said, we don't take this light and just conceal it. We put it out on the hill. And we let it shine from the hill. He's saying, go out there. I'm with you. I'm that light. I'm with you. Don't be afraid of the darkness, because we will shine in it. So,
finding the other people who are making pockets of light is probably key in that.
That is important.
So that you're not walking in a bunch of darkness and then you're like,
crap.
What's my light? What's this fake light? You got to surround yourself with the right people for sure, but you can't only surround yourself. And as we're at a Christian school, it doesn't necessarily mean everybody here is Christian, but in the sense, we are surrounding ourselves with only light. We're not in the darkness, so to speak. A lot of people will view it as that, but I kind of view it as kind of a charging up the flashlight type of thing. Like, we're charging up and then we're getting out and we're going to go into the darkness, or maybe there's a specific darkness on campus that you got to be a light to. Who knows? But there's that interesting thing of, you need to make sure that you have got the community of people who are going to keep you focused and make sure that you're not making the wrong discernments. decisions, not discernments. That's not even a word.
Yeah.
But not being afraid to step into the darkness and being confident of the light that is within you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because it's definitely there.
Yeah.
At every moment. Yeah.
I think the challenges as Christians, like as we're working, let's say you're a producer for this film and there's an atheistic director and he wants to put some stuff into that film that you're like, we can't do, but he has almost just as much say, or if not more, depending on how the film structure is and whether that should be in there. Like as a Christian, like I think that's where some of the tie will come. Like, how do I talk about these difficult things or these controversial things in a way that doesn't condone them and say, hey, this is an okay lifestyle, you know, because it's not. A lot of things that are out there, that's not okay to be saying, hey, it's okay to do all this stuff and have no consequences, you know, like when it has consequences. Separation from God has consequences, you know. But I think, I don't know, I'm learning that it's okay to talk about those things as long as you're saying, like, hey, this does have consequences and it's not okay to live in this lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
But certainly if you were working with an atheistic partner, there would be that conflict of he might want to condone something that you're like, whoa, we can't condone this, you know? And talking through and finding a ground where, like, say, hey, I can't do this for this project. Like, being able to learn how to stand your ground, but still give grace to them as an individual, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. But that's the object of grace. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and it's not meant to be easy. If it was meant to be easy, everyone would give grace. But as Christians, we give grace, and then people are like, whoa, man. Wow. Why did he just do that? He must really care or love me or something. There's something different.
Something's different.
Yeah. And I had that experience. Like, I was around a lot of people who were different than me. They're so much older than me too. And I would just always pray. I was like, you know what, God, let me go with these people. Help me to listen, and you know, just whatever you want to happen, let it happen. And they saw something in me, and I was like, I let them know, you know, it's God. It's God that brought me to this point of peace. It's God that brought me to this point of love. And even though some of them didn't get it, they were just like, there's something different about you, dude. Like, and I finally, like, I got to talk about Jesus to some Buddhists, to some people who were agnostic, to some people who were a mixture of a whole bunch of stuff. I just spit everywhere.
Going back to your movie days, man.
Yes, going back to my movie days. That was a long one. I think I got it on the table. Over the mic. Woo! Yeah, but
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Yeah, man. I mean, it's like we just got to be open to let the Spirit move. It's so true. You know, the Holy Spirit is real. You just let it move. God is this whole being that is in everything.
Not in a weird cosmic humanism
not in
sense.
In whatever, like whatever way we want to say it, like we build these things because God is in our hearts, and we, even if we try to say this is the truth, God is the truth.
Yeah.
God is the only certainty. And through Jesus Christ, we throw that in there. We find that truth. So, yeah.
Perhaps making movies that are beautiful, that aren't preachy necessarily, and we create a product that people are like, at the end, they're like, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Maybe we end up giving ourselves a bigger platform to then declare, I made this to reflect God's beauty and what he's done in my life.
Exactly.
Like, people might listen to that more. Non-Christians, specifically non-Christians, might listen to that more rather than putting it in the movie. Mm-hmm. You know, because I do personally think that we need to have what is called quote-unquote Christian films specifically for Christians, because some of them need to have that encouragement that, hey, you have a professor that's being really rough. Like, you need to have that encouragement, like, keep on pressing on, you know.
Yeah.
We need that for edification within the church itself, and that's the target audience. But we can't necessarily go, hey, atheist friend, watch this,
Yeah.
We have to be mindful of our audience,
Yeah.
for sure.
I actually get a lot of motivation from Doctor Who.
I watched an episode the other day, really liked it.
I just like the amount of grace he has for every single creature in the world, and I'm just like, oh, that's how I should be.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm motivated to do stuff. But at the same time, I get what you're saying about Christian films. For me, I just never really resonated with them.
Yeah. And you probably wouldn't have been the target audience.
I probably was not the target audience. I was that weird guy who's like, I'm a Christian, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, I don't think this is... I think the professor most likely would have, like, cursed at me and yelled at me or something.
Instead of... Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, it was made the way it was for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, whoa, that was loud. My bad, people. We just peaked there. So, quick change of topic before we run out of time. This has been awesome. Love talking films with you, man.
Yes.
But before you go, what 3 guys in the mic have hoped to do, and we'll finally have the chance to do it because my friends aren't here and I get complete dictator power.
Oh my gosh.
Could not do that. I want to hear your stereotypes for campus. This is a fun Taylor activity. As a freshman who lives in Swallow,
Yeah.
tell me about Swallow. How do you describe Swallow? And then I want to hear your impressions of like Wangets and Bergwall and Sammy Morris. Like I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, good thing I've been to every single place. I've been to all those places in the past couple of weeks. All right. Swallow is a group of beautiful people with beautiful minds who
to spread their wings and fly?
Nope.
Oh.
They can't fly. They're like dodo birds. But they're creative. They're very creative, and we're all in different walks of life. And I feel like Swallow Robin is changing. It's changing. Because now we're all out of our rooms. We're all like in each other's lives and stuff. So it's becoming something different. And it's becoming a bit more intentional. And I think the whole stereotype was, oh, Swallow Robin people are weird. And they're always in their rooms, man. They're weird. Well, for one, weird is the new cool. And who cares what you think? Yeah, we're weird. And if you think you're normal, you're not. Boom. Anyways, yeah, man. Swallow's just a bunch of people who really love Jesus, man. They just really love Jesus, and they like they're really creative, and they're very thoughtful, and they're also very, they're different, yeah, but that's good because we're meant to be different.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I don't think we're meant to just be like, oh, I'm a Christian, and this, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all meant to be diverse and full of life and full of love and energy. I kind of
feel like Swallow's kind of where random people are thrown into Swallow, and then you got to make it work.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
That's my impression of Swallow.
Okay.
Because it's been like, oh, there's not, like, it's a jock dorm. Nope. It's a nerd dorm. Nope. Like, yes, you have some of those.
It's a mixing pot.
Yeah.
It's a mixing pot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
How about Wangets? Like, what's a couple words that you describe Wangets guys?
Intimate.
Intimate.
Close.
Is that because of the open showers? Just kidding. Don't walk down that path.
I went to the techno thing last night.
Yeah, so I heard that was good.
They're very energetic.
Energetic? I didn't agree with that.
I just like how they're not trying to be like, they're not trying to I don't know, they're just them, and they're having fun. And I'm pretty sure they love God just like all of us do. And it's awesome to see that you can go to a party nowadays, you don't have to drink or smoke, and you can have an amazing time.
There you go.
Loved it. It's awesome. Sweated. I'm sore. Shin splints. But it was great.
There.
Wingets guys, real cool. Samuel Morris is sort of like it's another mixing pot. I think the whole campus is a mixing pot.
No, for sure.
But if we're going with like stereotypes, I don't know. I went to Penthouse. I thought Penthouse was real chill, really cool, real good conversations, a bunch of musically inclined people.
Excuse me.
Bunch of musically inclined people. Just a bunch of great people. A lot of extroverted people.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. I really like Sammy. A lot of intelligent people too. Berg, sort of the same thing. Very diverse group of people. You're in Berg.
I am in Berg.
Just from a conversation I had with Josh Munoz, he's in Berg. It's just like you said, it's a lot of different people.
Bergwall's, in my opinion, Bergwall's a little bit of a bigger version than Swallow.
Okay.
It's still got that smallness. I mean, it's the co-ed, so it's by the different floors.
Yeah.
Everybody says, oh, it's a jock dorm. Well, yeah, no, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, we have a lot of athletes, yes, we do. But we also have a lot of non-athletes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of non-athletes. So it's kind of like Swallow in terms of, like, there's a bunch of different people. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that neat intimacy between the floors because you do have the co-ed above you, like, type of thing, which I've observed with Swallow is, like, the guys and the girls are all really close, and you're like brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And, like, you all hang out together. Same with Bergwall. We do that with the floors above. It's like sister floor, except it's not because we also have sister floors. We're big enough to have a different sister floor.
Okay.
So, but,
yeah.
How about Brew? You been there?
Brew. No. Nope. I've not been to Brew.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So, what about Broho? What are your thoughts about Broho? Broho is kind of its own separate thing, almost.
Broho is its own separate thing.
Except they live in Sammy.
Broho. I like Broho. I like them all, man. I like all the different things they're bringing because it's interesting.
How would you describe Broho in a
just energetic and loud and
loud? Yep.
I don't know. They're just like a part of a university that seems to just be a working part of the university, and I like it.
Working part of the university, even though they break every rule they can.
Yes, and you need people like that if you're going to a university for it to be complete. That is university.
Love you, Broho.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yes.
Except when you steal our golf club. Bring it back, please. We're still missing it.
Yeah, guys, don't steal. You guys can do whatever you want. Just don't let it affect other people, okay? Be mature about it. We can all have fun. I have fun.
Broho, man. Can they be mature about it?
Yeah, they can. They can. We can all be mature and have fun. I do stupid things. I just don't let it affect other people. If I do something stupid, the only person I want it to affect is me. At the end of the day. If I'm doing stuff for the fun of it, I do it out of love. I don't like to bring people into my issues. I don't like to I feel like you can have a lot of fun. You just don't have to let it affect other people in a bad way.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of feel like Broho's like a Christian frat house without, like you said, smoking, drinking. Like they're like the guys that are super close to each other, do a ton of wacky, crazy things.
Yeah.
Super extroverted. I feel bad for introverts on that floor, honestly.
Yeah, because they're probably
really, really bad.
Like balled up in the corner crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're fun to watch sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever they do outside the building, like tackling each other, that's kind of crazy.
That's a lot of fun.
Well, we are running out of time. It's about 5 o'clock, and the next song is going to be on here. I'm going to slowly raise it up. Shout out to Ben Bethel for coming on this show.
Yep, check out New Age Radio. I'm gonna give myself a plug.
Thursday
New Age Radio.
Thursday at 8.
At 8. That's today. In the next 3 hours. Boom shaka laka 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 laka. I don't do any of those things. I'm sorry. Bye.
Thank you guys for listening to Three Guys and a Mic. We will see you next week.
A book in a week is next.
Oh, book in a week is next.
Yeah, we'd probably
get out here, but. This is Three Guys and a Mic. We are out.